Hello and welcome to Bored Stupid. My name's Wayne.
And I'm Matt.
And it's that time again for a topical discussion.
Yeah, let's have a chat about stuff about board games.
About board games. You'll see up here a link to another topical discussion.
Yep.
We've done a couple of these now.
Yep.
And you seem to like them, and we are happy to continue to do them.
Why not?
Why not? Absolutely. And the discussion that we're going to have today, Matt, is about positive trends in board games.
Yes, so we had a couple of other videos where we talked about stuff that we don't like, red flags
and things like IP games and blah, blah, blah. But actually, we want to focus on the positive. Our channel is much more positive than anything else.
And there are so many things that we love about
absolutely
new
incredible
things.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. But before we start the conversation, I think everyone should hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button. That's a really positive trend that I want to see continuing to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Grow that trend and hit the subscribe button.
So thank you if you already done it.
Make us trend. Make us a positive trend.
Yeah, we can be a trend. Thank you so much for the one that already subscribed to the channel. We love you all.
Thank you.
And if you're a new one to the channel,
welcome.
Well, hit the subscribe button. Welcome, and we love you too.
Yeah, we do.
But after they subscribe, I think they should go do some shopping.
Special gift for you for subscribing. You get a 10% discount at Into the AM. These are our partners who do fantastic graphic t-shirts, as well as a whole host of absolutely wonderful casual leisure wear. Yeah. And you should certainly go check it out. There's some wonderful stuff in here. And our discount is extra special, Matt. Why?
Yeah, it's because it's 10% on top of any other discount you will find on the website.
Even better.
There's a lot of discounts like, for example...
3 for 2.
3 for 2
but yeah. In sale items.
Every now and then they got, quite often they got discounts on a lot of stuff, but our ones is special because it's 10% on top of any other discounts you can find. So definitely check out the link in the description. Use the Bored Stupid code on the checkout, and happy days.
Cool. So that's really positive. Subscribing's really positive. Let's get positive.
Let's do it.
So Matt, I think a positive trend that I've seen recently in the last 5 years, and certainly, actually, you could probably narrow it down to really only the last couple of years, is a trend for publishers towards things like environmental components and environmentally friendly packaging and environmentally friendly production methods.
Yes.
Which I think is absolutely wonderful.
No, it's great. Like, as everybody trying to do, like we're trying to do our little.
We're trying to do a little bit,
trying to live in a more environmentally friendly world, because that's everybody should do. I'm really glad that some of the big publisher, a lot of small ones, but some of the big publisher as well started going down this route, trying to find a better way to to hit that carbon neutral mark that we should have.
Absolutely, you're starting to see, and look, let's all be honest with ourselves here, board gaming isn't a particularly environmentally friendly product, right? There is a lot of plastic, there is a lot of virgin paper, virgin cardboard being produced, so it is in and of itself a net negative to the environment. Granted, it's not a humongous industry, it's not cars, it's not anything else, but there is a net negative, I think, associated with it. So anything that can pull it further to the other direction, I think, is to be applauded.
Yep.
You have much more trends towards completely plastic-free packaging. The newest reprint of El Grande is an example of that.
Oh yeah, they got all the
paper packaging and the cardboard boxes for stuff to go in, which is great. Or some recycled components there as well. And I think it's tremendous.
No, I do agree with you. Yeah. You know, I like a lot of miniatures. So that is a lot of plastic. However, I know that few of the publisher or that trying different route. Yeah, the minis is still plastic, but they're trying to, I don't know, use different way of
recycled materials or whatever,
recycling the plastic. And I really love, there's a lot of new games that are coming out that bringing this theme into the games. Like Pampero is one that I'm really interested that is coming out soon. That is very much about the environment. So I think it's all positive. And one thing that I will add is the fact that a board game, yes, I know it's use virgin paper and the plastic. However, a board game can be kind of forever. I mean, I think my parents got board games from the 70s back home, and they're still all in one piece.
There is that as well.
Yes, as you said, it's not. Probably we are not the most destructive to the planet, but if we can do something to do even better, yeah, absolutely.
Then all the better. I think Czech Games Edition as well are another company that are moving towards recycled materials, and they've got a whole thing about that, which is very interesting as well. So big clap to them, which is very exciting. I mentioned El Grande, Matt, so I'm going to move on to another one if that's all right. Well, El Grande was a classic game from the 90s, absolutely tremendous game, one of the greatest games ever made, arguably still the greatest area majority game. But there has been a recent trend of like a revival. The revival.
Yeah, that's what I call the revival.
The 90s revival of like amazing games.
Yes, and
but with a lick of paint.
Yeah, and that's great, because again, I still think that a board game is a good board game even in 50 years.
Yeah.
There might be, of course, you can see that a little bit of the age in the mechanics, because everything evolves, or everything change or improve.
Game design does improve. I mean, it has done. If you can take games from the 50s and 60s to now, it's a different world, right?
However, a good board game is a good board game.
Correct.
That's the reason why you got stuff like, I will say it, but Monopoly or Risk, or these games have been out for, or Cluedo, they've been out for like 50, 60, 70 years. Not really changing the mechanics of the games, and they're still out, and still for the normal people, not the
normies.
Those are the board games. So a good board game is a good board game, probably forever.
Although,
let
me just put a pin in the fact that Monopoly is not a good board game.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's just like it's for the general public.
I understand.
That is what they call a board game.
But yeah, there are some amazing games from the 90s that are literally Spiel des Jahres winners. Yeah. Phenomenal stuff, and we're seeing them basically jazzed up to a whole new level, because those old games have a pretty either an old rubbish production, or like back in production where production values wasn't as important. It wasn't as high. Because board game production now is amazing, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But what you're seeing is games like Ra from 1995, amazing game. We've talked about Ra a lot.
Yeah,
one of our favourite games on the channel, and the newest version of Ra. Freaking tremendous.
It is. Components
are great looking game.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the original one, it's kind of like you see fine. That it's from the 90s.
You see it's from the 90s.
You absolutely see that's from the 90s. I'm really happy about it, even because we can now play games that are almost like so rare on the market that you can't find them
or out of print forever.
So of that one, I'm really happy. My only little red flags with this revival, I hope it's not going to end up like in the movie industry, where a certain point everything was a remake. A remake of this, a remake of that, means that publishers are not keen on creating new content. They're just recycling what they already had.
Okay, so the fear is that it will stifle innovation.
Yeah.
Why would I innovate? I can just put a new coat of paint on this old game.
Yeah.
And suddenly we've got, money made.
And you can see there are a few publishers that are already doing it. That really squeeze one or two IPs trying to create. That basically is always the same game. They just change the skin. So I'm afraid this maybe.
You're gently cautious of it.
But I'm really much up for all those like late 80s and early 90s games that otherwise you will not manage to play.
Here's
And if they were
yeah.
your favorite game when you were a kid, now you got a new flashy version.
Like Hero Quest is one
Exactly,
for you,
yeah.
And there was a reprint of Big Boss, which actually never came out in English, and that is now one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Because Funko did a new version of it, which is actually an amazing looking game, and it's still, like you said, a great game. Alongside Ra, and we also talked about El Grande, one of the greatest games of all time, and other Reiner Knizia games from the 90s, like Quo Vadis, which is now the Zoo Vadis version, which is it's a great acclaim, great negotiation game. And then you've got the sort of a super deluxe approach with the Castles of Burgundy by Awaken Realms.
I'm still on the edge of that. I'm probably gonna buy
You might
eventually.
get it.
I really love Castle of Burgundy. So having that deluxeified version,
super
it's
exciting.
something like, do I need it? No. Do I like it? Yes.
Yeah.
So it's always like, who's gonna win? Probably the day I'm gonna have too many drinks, I'm gonna hit buy on it. That's normally what happened.
Absolutely.
Talking about it, I mean.
Here's a deluxe version of Ratlands.
The Ratlands that just arrived, the deluxe. I do like a deluxe version for the games that I really love.
There you go, man. Absolutely. Just a couple.
I think that is really good. The same things with Robinson Crusoe
as well. Yeah, a completely update of that game.
Yeah.
New production and everything. A couple more examples that I'm excited about is Colosseum. So Fantasia are doing a new print of Colosseum, so that's very exciting as well. And we may be talking about that on another video, which may or may not have been released depending on the order that we do these things in. And then also very exciting, Awaken Realms are doing Puerto Rico.
Yes, so that was announced just a few weeks ago.
Wow, I did not expect that.
They're gonna take Puerto Rico, so the famous legendary
board game, Puerto Rico,
and they just gonna revamp it and make it like over the top like Awaken Realms normally do, and looking at what they did with all the games, Castle of Burgundy, and Robinson Crusoe, I think that's gonna be popular. Let's say.
I think it's gonna. That's money, Brendan.
And it's coming out
2025 maybe.
Game Found end of 2024. End of 2024.
I think you raise a good point though, Matt, about there should be a level of caution applied, because I think a lot of the great growth in board gaming has been about innovation, right? And about innovating in different spaces, and that's a wonderful trend, and how you're seeing game design constantly evolve.
Mixing
mechanisms, or taking mechanisms that you didn't think would work in a certain way, and then actually throwing a twist on it. We saw relatively recently, although a few years ago now, with the Crew taking a cooperative spin on trick taking.
Yeah, that was unseen in that.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Slightly before that, you had the advent of legacy games, which has sort of gone out of fashion a little bit now, but they've now been replaced by sort of modular campaign style games, which is another new innovation where you can dip in and dip out of modules for a campaign, right?
And then again, that is all innovation.
Like Unsettled is one of those, isn't it?
Unsettled, yeah.
Very much like a bolt-in content. You can play a little bit or not play a bit. And that's all through amazing innovation.
And if you stop that, or if you start just redoing stuff that is done in the past, that
maybe a risk of losing a little bit.
I still think there are so many indie publishers out there, and new ideas are gonna be generated anyway. You just need them to hope that they're gonna be made for a bigger audience. For sometimes these very small indie games, they don't find a window where they can actually grow and expand and make themselves known. Because even on Kickstarter or Game Found, there are so many games now that sometimes the smaller, we already talked about it, but the smaller indie publisher, they got lost.
Yes, in the shuffle, right? Because there's so much content out there. So, absolutely. Let's change gears, Matt, and I really want to talk about the general production of gaming, right? And I think has been an amazing trend in the last absolutely 10 years, definitely the last 5 years. There's a couple of things I want to touch on here.
Go on.
First, let's just talk about just art design and production value in general, which I think is it's good as it's ever been, and it's possibly ever going to be.
Yes, I think
Can it get any better in terms of what you can do with raw materials? I mean, it's just so good these days. It's all luxury stuff.
it can get more expensive.
It can get more expensive.
There are two very different things. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
But like the point where it's like just it seems to me that almost no matter what you buy from like a decent publisher these days, the expectation is that the production is solid.
Yes.
Right.
I think people became a little bit more knowledgeable of what's on the market. I think that's the internet helps.
Yeah.
Like
I think Kickstarter
watching,
crowdfunding probably helped drive production values
that's
in a
true.
way, right?
Yeah.
So sort of the impact of crowdfunding probably had a wider industry impact on just production expectations.
It does, yes, and people are really expecting a lot. And
Even
then
from retail games, right?
You always got the other side of the coin where a lot of this, when you see a campaign, those are renders, they're not really the final production. So, but no, absolutely, what can physically be done now is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. All the components, and let's talk about the storage for the games.
Game storage.
Thank God, finally, thank God.
For publishers,
Thank God.
Thank you for coming up with great game storage.
Something like Unsettled.
Incredible storage.
Like from the guys at Dice Tray.
Game Trace.
Sorry. Absolutely best storage solution in a box I ever seen. But even the other ones, they started doing like proper, right? This goes here, this goes there, and there is a space for everything, and everything is savable or nicely done. No, this is something that became so much better in the last few years.
As you know, one of my red flags in board gaming is like really long setup and really long teardown times, because as we all know, time is limited. And if you're anything like me, I like to play a few games in a night. So the quicker I can get it out and put it away, the quicker we can play something else or enjoy the game and have a good old time. So I think, anything to help ease the gaming experience via production is to be welcomed. I love good inserts.
No, absolutely. Yeah, so thank you to all the publishers who actually do
great inserts.
Great insert.
So we talked, Matt, about massive production, right, and how amazing it is and how incredible quality that stuff can be these days. But on the opposite side of it, I actually quite like this. I don't know how recent it is. This kind of a positive trend towards very small footprint games. But like, how much game can you get into a small footprint and still be called a board game?
Do you think the stuff that the guys at Gameling have done
Maybe.
recently?
I mean, gambling games, they're known for that, but I think there's a criticism that can be leveled at gambling games where they make things small for the sake of being small, where actually the game would be better if it was bigger. Right? Legitimately, it would be a better game.
Or like Tiny Epic Dungeon, I really love. I think this is a great game. It's this tiny little box, but then you need a massive table to play.
The footprint's still not small. But thinking everything from Oink games, for example, to did Scout and a number of other great games.
Yeah.
Game like this in a box, not just card games, but it has other tokens and components as well. The Button Shy games, which is basically games in a wallet that you can take.
Oh, those are amazing. Yeah.
So there's a real nice trend towards that, which I think is really good, because not everyone has loads of space to store all of your amazing boxes.
No, and I think it still goes down to a cost involved as well, because games like that is just £10-15. So if you like
maximum
one,
25.
Yeah, if you like one, there is always a second one in the series and stuff like that. And no, it's really good. This like travel size game.
Play it in the pub. We like to talk about pub games. We like to talk about pub games, and there's a lot of that trend, which I really like. And I'm very excited to see if more of that happens, because what I want is a full experience that I can play in a box roughly this big and has a small footprint. Knart is a good example of one of those, I think.
It is.
It's a small footprint game.
Yeah.
And it's actually a very enjoyable game.
And it's a deep game as well.
30 minutes, 45 minutes, you get a good game out of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't take up the whole table, and it's a really nice involved experience.
Yeah.
Unrest being a similar one as well. So where you're getting that small footprint.
There's been some very interesting ones. Is it Beacon Patrol as well? Another one from Pandasaurus that is
small footprint, great game.
And still you play like 3 or 4 people, so it just it is a trend now. That you made me think about it. We'll see now. Well, UKG is around the corner, and
we'll see what the publishers bring, and we'll see what that footprint looks like. It's got 2 sides of the coin. Depends what you're after, doesn't it? Something massive or something not so big. I know there's something you're not particularly interested in, Matt, but I know there are a lot of games now that have a solid solo version of the game. And me and you, as a matter of fact, the pair of us, I'm not really interested in solo gaming. But there's been a great trend towards developing games specifically that are just solo. Like Final Girl.
And and Final Girl is probably one of the most famous. I have not played because I don't play solo games. And that is something that I promised myself this year I'm going to change. I'm going to try.
Try one,
to me, the board game is always a community thing.
Social experience.
It's always been like having the experience of the game with other people, at least than other people. But it doesn't count if it's a 1 versus 1 or an RPG or a big social deduction or a strategy game.
Doesn't matter.
The people around the table makes the game. So that's why I never really went down that avenue of having a solo play. But I know there are a lot of like solo games that are amazing. And even like I heard like something like, I don't know, Tainted Grail or the new King of Ruins, and they're actually supposed to be really good solo as well.
Yeah. So I think that's a wonderful trend as well. Just again, it opens games up to different types of people as well, who might not necessarily have loads of people to play with for whatever reason, and they have the option to then play those games.
Anyway, an alarm as well.
Got an alarm going on back here. It's telling us that it's time to go to the outro. So that was our discussion on some amazing positive trends in board gaming, and some of these may end up being a top 5 that we'll make in the future. There's some great stuff out there, and reasons to be positive, Matt.
Well, because games are great, and we love playing games,
and we love it.
Yeah, that's why we really like this industry, because it's for the positive things. There are some negatives, but we're always trying to look at the positive side of the thing, especially because we're talking about games,
things that we love.
That's supposed to be fun.
And,
so that's why if you follow the channel so far, you know that we don't really go down like reviewing games that we don't like, or just going like negatively, like, oh, I don't like this game, oh, this game is rubbish, don't buy. It's not really our thing, because we're not talking about those games. If we don't like a game, most likely we
won't play it, or we won't talk about it, or we'll be like, we're never going to talk about that because it's a waste of our time, frankly.
Yeah, exactly. And a waste of energies and a waste of positive vibes, I guess.
Absolutely. So, and on the note of positive vibes, a really positive thing that you can do
is hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely, go and do that. Then if you are willing and able and have a little bit of spare cash and fancy some new clothes, go check out Into the AM using our special code in the description.
Find some fantastic tees.
Or some wonderful shirts and leisure wear. But what do you think? Tell us, what are some positive trends that you've experienced and that you know about in board gaming that you're super excited about and hope continue into the future? Do you agree with us, or are any of the trends that we talked about today actually a red flag or a bit of an ick?
Yeah, well, let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely. And as always, do the rest of the stuff, check out the rest of the videos, like all our things, and we'll catch you again real soon.
Ciao.